Hey, how you doing? Welcome to my first ever episode of my new podcast called Unedited. I wanted to take this opportunity for the first episode to explain why I'm calling it Unedited. And that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Is I am a writer and I write fiction novels, and they are, by nature, they have to be highly edited to the point where people even call it polished before you release it into the world, before you publish it. And that is something that I'm going through right now with my latest book. Is I'm in the editing phase where I've given it to somebody else who I actually pay them to come back to me with criticism on my book. And it's a very difficult thing to go through. And I thought at this point in my career, I've written 20 books now, 20 novels, and it's not any easier to hear what's wrong with the book. And seeing that, oh wow, I'm still not any better at avoiding these mistakes that are constantly something that I do in every novel. And that's seeps into the writing process from the very beginning, I feel like, because I'm very good at, or I don't know if I'm very good at, this is what I do. I try to look forward and see and picture what people will think about what I'm doing. And what will they think about these words I have written on the page? And it has become a not fun process to do that, because even before I begin writing now, I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, what are people going to think about this? And the action of writing is always second to the action of planning out what I want to write. And the planning phase has seemed to gotten longer and longer in my career, in my approach to each book. And I want to have something. First of all, I want to do something different where I want to use my actual voice. I've talked about this on all of my other videos, I feel like. But this is, I feel like, a little bit different because I'm going to try to take like more of a podcast approach. I feel like I suppress that voice, like the actual, vocal cord voice, by writing. It's a very solitary thing. And again, with this editing, self-editing, I don't know if it's a trap or maze I've caught myself into, where it's tough to get out of, and it's tough to get back into the present moment and producing for and creating for the present moment versus for some future moment where there's somebody else who is going to be consuming that book or that writing and thinking something about everything I'm doing. So everything I'm doing with the writing is for the future, I feel like. And I want to get somewhere where I can start creating for the moment a little bit more, and like I said, using my actual voice and vocal cords. Just because that's something I feel like I want to do. And in the spirit of unedited, there doesn't need to be a reason right now, other than right now, if you're not watching this on a video, you can't see that I'm sitting up in the mountains in Dillon, Colorado, and I'm playing disc golf, and I am surrounded by beautiful nature. It's fall. The leaves are mostly off of the trees except for a few really nice, beautiful golden ones. There's curtains of rain coming down that's probably like hail up at that altitude over there. There's a crow cawing at me. Probably not at me. There's wind whipping through the trees. Sounds like ocean waves crashing. It's great to be right here, right now, saying these words and not worrying about the editing of these words later. I'm going to, with this podcast, talk about things I want to talk about and be light with myself on the editing process for once. And the editing is, it's tough. It's kind of a double-edged sword because it's kind of a superpower if you're a good editor, because you can predict what people are going to think with the words you're saying. It is there. It's very crucial. Like in a book, people will read like 30,000 words, and as soon as you screw up once, it just snaps, right? I mean, it's right there on the page. And I mean, some people will say, oh my God, he doesn't even edit these books, and they'll shut the book and never read any more of it. And to be honest, if I were to be reading a book and I saw a bunch of errors in it, I would wonder, if the person cared that much about their books. If they don't care that much about their books, why would I care to read them? It's just kind of part of the deal. But there's a point where that really is not good, to be living by. Like, for instance, if I'm with my kids, they're just, oftentimes I'm realizing they're doing things for the first time in their life. They're, whether it's, whatever, making a piece of toast in the toaster oven or something like that, and taking it out and being scared of how hot it is, and sitting there watching them do it, and sometimes it being anything, like, do you step in and edit them and tell them how to do it better, or do you just let things happen and you let the finger be burned and the toast blackened, even though you can smell it, and they're ignoring it and they just let it turn into a crisp? How heavy-handed do you need to be with your editing? And I don't know if you guys, even if you're not writers, maybe you can relate. Personally, I'm trying to learn how to like draw and paint. I even bought some watercolors watercolor set and a little, what do you call it, easel or whatnot, brushes, and I'm finding myself staring at the frickin' pad of paper and all these paintings or paints, and wondering why I'm not just picking them up and messing around and learning how to paint and enjoying, or just enjoying painting. I don't even have to learn anything. But I don't, because I don't want to look at that. I can project myself forward, and I'm seeing a bunch of crap on the page, you know? And so I don't do it. And this has been like a couple of months, and that's bothering me. But it's in the same vein of thinking as this self-editing. Personally, I've got to be, I think it's like people tell me all the time, and I know this is me, I'm a thinker, you know, I think about things, and to the point where people usually are telling me, you think too much, okay? I think too much about stuff. And that's probably true, you know, I mean, with a lot of stuff in my life. I also, again, see it as like a curse and a gift to be able to see forward that much. But I want to, like I said already, create more for now than for some projected future that really never, even for all my thinking and projecting and predicting, it never happens the way I think it's going to. So I want to go into this with a thought of, here are some bullet points I'm going to talk about. Maybe have some thinking like that, and then just talking and allowing myself to do that. One of the best things I ever did in my life was take improv classes. I did that for like 2 years, and at the very beginning they actually told us, okay, so it's every week for 2 years, and then at the end of 2 years, if you get to like through these levels, you know, like level 1, 2, 3, 4, and then at level 4, it ends with 4 weeks in a row, and there's 3-hour shows for 4 weeks in a row on like a Saturday night or like a Thursday night or something like that. And which is very, very scary. So throughout that couple of years and through those 4 levels, I got to know people that were in the class, and they were in the class with me, and we had so much fun. And then they would start dropping out. They started dropping out as we got closer to that deadline where there was gonna be 4 weeks in a row with freaking audiences watching you do this instead of just, you know, the rest of the class, like, which is usually like 8 people. There was going to be 80 people watching you and laughing at you and judging you. And it was the most terrifying thing I've ever done. But I really felt proud of myself for sticking in the class and going all the way. And then in the 4-week process, the first week we had this show, and all my friends came, and it was probably one of the most exciting things I've ever done in my life, which is to go on that stage with that group of people that who stuck it out with me, or we all stuck it out together. And to do that and to just act like a moron on stage, and like you can't edit at all during those shows. You're just thinking. I mean, you're not even thinking. You're just reacting and saying and doing. And it was so amazing. Maybe I'll put a little clip right here. I think I have just a slight clip of me. If I didn't, then okay. But what did happen during that, it was like the third show, my teacher got angry at us after the show, because like his mom was in our troupe, whatever you call it, and we had been, I don't know who was doing it, because I mean, when you're doing it, you literally are just out of body, out of mind. You don't even know what the hell you're saying or doing, just kind of like right now. And I don't know if I did it or if everybody was doing it, but every scene we were making with this woman, because like you kind of like sweep off scenes and then you come in with a new scene, and then you sweep it off and then you come in with a new scene and whatever. Every time we were in with this woman who is his mother, she was the mother of the scene, okay? I don't know if we had been doing that for like 3 weeks straight or whatever, but it really irked him in some way. Like maybe it triggered some freaking, I don't know what, something from his childhood or something. But he was just like, do not make my mother your mom in the scenes. And he was just so mad. And then he had like 3 other edits, right? For us, criticisms, but I mean, there was just a lot of anger with him. Maybe, I don't know what happened to him that day or whatever, but I'll never forget. I mean, one of the girls started crying. Another one was upset, left. I was just like, okay, well, fuck that. I'm not doing that anymore. And that really, and then for years after that, after we finished that, and it was amazing, that stuck in my head, is that edit and that criticism. And people wanted to, like people from my troupe or whatever were trying to get in touch with me and saying, hey, yeah, should we do another class somewhere else maybe, or try to do like a show somewhere? And I wasn't having any of it. I was just playing that script in my head of that guy, just how mad he was. And I took it personally, like I did something wrong on stage, and because I was thinking maybe maybe it was me who was doing that with his mom and calling, whatever. It doesn't matter. The guy flew off the handle because it was all his deal, but I took it poorly, and I don't know what I'm trying to say other than, like, I guess that thing kind of got in my head where it's like, well, hey, if you are doing stuff that's not heavily edited and then presented to people, you might say something wrong and it might really piss someone off, and you didn't want to and you didn't mean to. And I mean, I know deep down that is just wrong and you can't live life like that, but that is that's something I deal with a lot. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people can relate to that. I think a lot of people can't relate to that and just do stuff or do whatever the hell they want. And I admire those people. And that's really cool if you're one of those people. And that's, I think we're all both of those people in some percentage, you know, and I want to up the percentage of that improv guy some more and do some of these off the cuff talking videos like this, and or podcasts or whatever the hell this is. So there you go. I think that's about all I had to say. I'm pretty sure I had a lot of other talking points I was going to say, but I'm not coming around to them. I'll probably get better at this type of thing. To me, that's another interesting thing, like how easy can it get, or how easy can it be to talk to a camera with just a random thought in mind and talking. Yeah. So thanks for listening. If you stuck this far, I appreciate it. And yeah, thanks a lot. See you next time.